like the inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails of his lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal future. Please repeat. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margaihi. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margair. Dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam. Dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam. Paumsnam vapuhu darshayanam ananya siddhaihi. Paumsnam vapur darshayanam ananya siddhair. Autpattikaihi samagranan yutam ashtabhogaihi. Autpattikai samagranan yutam ashtabhogaihi. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margair. Dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam. Paumsnam vapur darshayanam ananya siddhair. Autpattikai samagranan yutam ashtabhogaihi. Pumsam, of those persons, gatim, liberation, mrugayatam, who are searching, iha, here in this world, yoga margaihi, by the process of Ashtanga yoga, dhyana aspadam, object of meditation, bahu, by the great yogis, matam, approved, nayana, eyes, abhiramam, pleasing, paumsnam, human, vapuhu, form, darshayanam, displaying, ananya, not by others, siddhaihi, perfected, autpattikaihi, eternally present, samagranan, praised, yutam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is endowed, ashtabhogaihi, with 8 kinds of achievement. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others these achievements are not possible in full perfection. Please repeat the translation. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others these achievements are not possible in full perfection. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. So little bigger purport, 5 pages purport. You have to patiently. The success of the yoga process is very nicely described here. It is specifically mentioned that the form of the Lord as four-handed Narayana is the object of meditation for the followers of Yoga Marga. In the modern age, there are so many so-called yogis who do not target their meditation on the four-handed Narayana form. Some of them try to meditate on something impersonal or void, but that is not approved by the great yogis who follow the standard method. The real Yoga Marga process is to control the senses, sit in a solitary and sanctified place and meditate on the four-armed form of Narayana, decorated as described in this chapter as he appeared before the four sages. This Narayana form is Krishna's expansion, therefore the Krishna conscious movement which is now spreading in the real topmost process of yoga practice. Krishna consciousness is the highest yoga performance by trained devotional yogis. Despite all the allurements of yoga practice, the 8 kinds of yogic perfection are hardly achievable by the common man. But here it is described that the Lord who appeared before the 4 sages is himself full of the 8 of those perfections. The highest yoga marga process is to concentrate the mind 24 hours a day on Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. The yoga system as described in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita or as recommended in the Patanjali yoga process is different from the nowadays practiced Hatha yoga as it is generally understood in the Western countries. Real yoga practice is to control the senses, and after such control is established, to concentrate the mind on the Narayana form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna, form of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the other Vishnu forms with four-handed decorated with conch, lotus club and wheel are plenary expansions of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is recommended that one meditate upon the form of the Lord. To practice concentration of the mind, one has to sit with the head and the back in a straight line, and one must practice in a secluded place, sanctified by a sacred atmosphere. The yogi should observe the rules and regulations of brahmacharya to strictly live a life of self-restraint and celibacy. One cannot practice yoga in a congested city, living a life of extravagancy, including unrestricted sex indulgence and adultery of the tongue. Yoga practice necessitates controlling the senses, and the beginning of sense control is to control the tongue. One who can control the tongue can also have control over the other senses. But one cannot allow the tongue to take all kinds of forbidden food and drink and at the same time advance in practice of yoga. It is very regrettable fact that many unauthorized so-called yogis come to the Western countries and exploit people's inclination towards yoga practice. Such unauthorized yogis even dare to say publicly that one can indulge in the habit of drinking and at the same time practice meditation. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna recommended yoga practice to Arjuna, but Arjuna frankly expressed his inability to follow the stringent rules and regulations of the yoga system. One should be very practical in every field of activities and should not waste his valuable time in practicing useless gymnastic feats in the name of yoga. Real yoga is to search out the four-handed super soul within one's heart and see him perpetually in meditation. Such continued meditation is called samadhi, and the object of meditation is the four-armed Narayana with bodily decorations as described in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. If, however, one wants to meditate upon something void or impersonal, it will take a very long time before he achieves success in yoga practice. We cannot concentrate our mind on something void or impersonal. Real yoga is to fix the mind on the form of the Lord, the four-handed Narayana who is sitting in everyone's heart. By meditation, one can understand that God is seated within one's heart. Even if one does not know it, God is seated within the heart of everyone. Not only is he seated in the heart of human being, but he is also within the hearts of cats and dogs. Bhagavad Gita certifies this fact by the declaration of the Lord, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe. The Ishvara, the supreme control of the world, is seated in the heart of everyone. Not only is he in everyone's heart, but he is also present within the atom. No place is vacant or devoid of the presence of the Lord. That is the statement of Ishopanishad. God is present everywhere, and his right of proprietorship applies to everything. The feature of the Lord by which he is present everywhere is called Paramatma. Atma means individual soul and Paramatma means individual super soul. Both Atma and Paramatma are individual persons. The difference between Atma and Paramatma is that the Atma or the soul is present only in a particular body, whereas Paramatma is present everywhere. In this connection, the example of the sun is very nice. An individual person may be situated in one place, but the sun, even though a similar individual entity is present on the head of every individual person. In Bhagavad Gita, this is explained. Therefore, even though the qualities of all living entities, including the Lord, are equal, the super soul is different from the individual soul by quantitative power of expansion. The Lord or the super soul can expand himself into millions of different forms, whereas the individual soul cannot do so. The super soul, being seated in everyone's heart, can witness everyone's activities, past, present, and future. In the Upanishads, the super soul is described as being seated with the individual soul as friend and witness. As a friend, the Lord is always anxious to get back his friend, the individual soul, and bring him back home, back to Godhead. As a witness, he is the bestower of all benedictions, and he endows each individual with the result of his actions. The super soul gives the individual soul all facilities to achieve whatever he desires to enjoy in this material world. Suffering is a reaction to the living entity's propensity to try to lord it over the material world. But the Lord instructs his friend, the individual soul, who is also his son, to give up all other engagements and simply surrender unto him for perpetual bliss and eternal life of full knowledge. This is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, the most authorized and widely read book on all varieties of yoga. Thus, the last word of Bhagavad Gita is the last word in the perfection of yoga. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that a person who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness is the topmost yogi. What is Krishna consciousness? As the individual soul is present by his consciousness throughout his entire body, so the super soul or Paramatma is present throughout the whole creation by super consciousness. The super conscious energy is initiated by the individual soul, is imitated by the individual soul who has limited consciousness. I can understand what is going on within my limited body, but I cannot feel what is going on in another's body. I am present throughout my body, but my consciousness is not present in another body. The super soul or Paramatma, however, being present everywhere and within everyone, is also conscious of everyone's existence. The theory that the soul and the super soul are one is not acceptable because it is not confirmed by authoritative Vedic literatures. The individual soul's consciousness cannot act in super consciousness. This super consciousness can be achieved, however, by dovetailing individual consciousness with the consciousness of the Supreme. This dovetailing process is called as surrender or Krishna consciousness. From the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we learn very clearly that Arjuna in the beginning did not want to fight with his brothers and relatives, but after understanding Bhagavad Gita, he dovetailed his consciousness with the super consciousness of Krishna. He was then in Krishna consciousness. A person in full Krishna consciousness acts by the dictation of Krishna. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, dictation is received through the transparent medium of the spiritual master. When one is sufficiently trained and acts in submissively faith and love for Krishna under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, the dovetailing process becomes more firm and accurate. This stage of devotional service by the devotee in Krishna consciousness is the most perfect stage of the yoga system. At this stage, Krishna or the super soul dictates from within, while from without the devotee is helped by the spiritual master, who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. From within, he helps the devotee as Chaitya, for he is seated within the heart of everyone. Understanding that God is seated within everyone's heart is not, however, sufficient. One has to be acquainted with God from both within and without, and one must take dictation from within and without to act in Krishna consciousness. This is the highest perfectional stage of human form of life and the topmost perfection of all yoga. For a perfect yogi, there are 8 kinds of super achievements. One can become lighter than the air, one can become smaller than the atom, one can become bigger than a mountain, and one can achieve whatever he desires, one can control like the Lord, and one so on. But when rises to the perfectional stage of receiving dictation from the Lord, that is greater than any stage of material achievements above mentioned. The breathing exercise of the yoga system, which is generally practiced, is just the beginning. Meditation of the super soul is just another step forward. But to obtain direct contact with the super soul and the direct dictation from him in the highest perfectional stage. The breathing exercises of meditation practice were very difficult even 5000 years ago. However, otherwise Arjuna would not have rejected the proposal of Krishna that he adopt this system. This age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this age, people in general are short-lived and very slow to understand self-realization or spiritual life. They are mostly unfortunate, and therefore if someone is a little bit interested in self-realization, he is likely to be misguided by so many frauds. The only way to realize the perfect stage of yoga is to follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita as practiced by Lord Chaitanya. This is the simplest and highest perfection of yoga practice. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated this Krishna consciousness yoga system in a practical manner, simply chanting the holy name of Krishna as prescribed in the Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many important Puranas. The largest number of Indians follow this yoga process, and in the United States it is gradually spreading in many cities. It is very easy and practical for this age, especially for those who are serious about success in yoga. No other process of yoga can be successful in this age. The meditation process was possible in the golden age, Satyuga, because people in that age used to live for hundreds of thousands of years. If one wants success in practical yoga system, it is advised that he take to the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he will actually feel himself making progress. In Bhagavad Gita, this practice of Krishna consciousness is prescribed as Rajavidya, or the king of all education. Those who have taken this most sublime Bhakti Yoga system, who practice devotional service in transcendental love of Krishna, can testify to its happy and easy execution. The four sages Sanaka, Sanatana, Sananda and Sanat Kumara also became attracted by the features of the Lord and the transcendental aroma of the dust of his lotus feet, as already described in verse number 43. Yoga necessitates controlling the senses, and Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness is the process of purifying the senses. When the senses are purified, they are automatically controlled. One cannot stop the activities of the senses by artificial means. But if one purifies the senses by engaging in the service of the Lord, the senses not only can be controlled from rubbish engagement, but can be engaged in Lord's transcendental service. As aspired to by the four sages Sanaka, Sanatan, Sananda and Sanat Kumara, Krishna consciousness is not therefore a manufactured concoction of the speculative mind. It is the process enjoined in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. The sense the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om ajnanatimiraandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama om vishnupadaya krishna prashtaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin niti namine. Namaste saraswate deve gauravani pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the Kumaras experience after inhaling the air which came from the lotus feet of the Lord, which was mixed with tulsi, how they were feeling, how they became ecstatic, is explained in these two verses. Teva amushya vadanasita padma kosham. So they were seeing the form of the Lord like within a blue lotus, padma kosham. It is like whole of a lotus. Udviksha sundaratara adara kundahasam. The smile, the beautiful smile of the Lord is like sundaratara kundahasam. It's like a jasmine flower, that smile, blossoming jasmine flower. Then, labda ashisha punaha aveksha tadiyam angridvandyam. Labda ashisha, they have attained the mercy of the Lord, the benedictions of the Lord. Puna aveksha, they again began to look about the Lord. Tadiyam angridvandvam, at the lotus feet of the Lord. Naka arunamani shayanam nidadyuhu. They saw the nails which were emanating the radiance, which were like rubies. Naka arunamani. Arunamani means the red rubies. That effulgence was coming out of the Lord's toenails. Shrayanam nidadyuhu. And they meditated upon that form of the Lord because they were not satisfied. They wanted to hear and they wanted to see what is happening is the Kumaras were individually focusing on each bodily part of the Lord. To grasp that whole form of the Lord in that physical appearance by their eyes, they were incapable. So they went into meditation and they visualized the whole form of the Lord, what they had seen earlier. When they went into meditation, when they became absorbed in that whole form of the Lord, they went into ecstasy by repeated having darshan of that form. It invoked ecstasy within them. And this is what Brahma is describing. So we are hearing from the words of Brahma what experience the Kumaras were going through. The Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like the inside of a blue lotus. Teva amushya vadanasita padma kosham. And the Lord's smile appeared to be blossoming jasmine flower. Uddiksha Sundaratara Adarakunda Hasam. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied. And when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails of the lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Tadiyam Angri Dvandvam Naka Arunamani Shrayanam. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, Punar Aveksha, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal future, Labda Ashisha Nidadyuhu. So, Lord Brahma was explaining the reason for Kumaras becoming into ecstasy, or how they experienced this ecstasy. Because the Kumaras were not able to see the beautiful features of the Lord simultaneously at the entire form of the Lord, they meditated upon the Lord's form. And in meditation, they were able to particularly focusedly pursue the Lord's individual limbs simultaneously. And the Kumaras thought, how we will be able to see all the bodily features of the Lord simultaneously? So, longing to see that form, they went into meditation. And this meditation increased their ecstatic love for the Lord. So, by meditation, the Kumaras achieved ecstatic love for the Lord. Then, next verse. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margaihi. For the people who are aspiring for liberation, Jai Shri Radha Govindaki. Pumsam gatim, the destination of the living entity is mrugayatam iha yoga margaihi. Who are searching for the destination to reach Vaikunta, yoga margaihi, this is the process, Astanga yoga process. Dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam. How? Dhyanaspadam, the Lord should be meditated upon. Whose though aspire aspadam dhyana, by meditation. Bahumatam, and it is approved by all great yogis and sages. This meditation upon the Lord. And this is nayanabhiramam. It is very pleasure to the eyes to have the darshan of the Lord within their heart. It's a festival for the eyes, nayanabhiramam. Paumsnam vapuhu darshayanam ananya siddhaihi. And paumsnam vapuhu, the form which is like of a human form, darshayanam, which is displayed to the person, ananya siddhaihi, only to those who are perfected living entities can aspire to see that form, not by anybody else. That meditation is possible only to perfected beings, not by anybody else. Outpattikai samagranan yuta ashtabhogaihi. And that form which was meditated upon by these devotees, that form of the Lord, which is samagram, which is full in itself, complete in itself, of yutam ashtabhogaihi, with Lord is full with all the 8 kinds of opulences of Ashtanga Yoga. Anima, Lagima, Prapti, all that 8 kinds of yoga systems, the Lord is the personification of 8 kinds of yoga systems. That's why he is known as Master of the Yogis, Yoga Ishvara. So, in the translation, Prabhupada says, this is the form of the Lord, Paunsnam Vapuhu, what was visualized by the Kumaras, and which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga practice. Pumsam gatim mrugayatam iha yoga margaihi dhyanaspadam. And it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation, Nayanabhiramam. It is not imaginary but factual, Outpattikaihi. It is in real form, it is not an imagination form. As approved by great yogis, Bahumatam Outpattikaihi. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, Samagranan Yutam Darshayanam Astabhogaihi. But for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection, Ananya Siddhaihi. The Lord, whatever that Lord has Astabhogaihi in perfection, the people can never achieve to that full capacity what the Lord is possible of, what Lord possesses of. So in the purport, Prabhupada was explaining about various elements. The whole intention for us is how to meditate upon the Lord, how to understand the qualities of that. See, when you try to understand about a person too much, it is meditating upon him. Chanting of the holy name is meditation, because continuously you are thinking of Krishna through name. So when you are talking about the Lord, it is a meditation, it is samadhi. Because unless you concentrate on what you are talking, you will not be able to talk properly. And when you are trying to talk about Krishna, you are simultaneously meditating upon Krishna. So, the preaching Krishna consciousness is also meditating on Krishna, either through chanting or through talking or through having darshan of the deity. It's all meditation perspective. So, what is so unique about the Lord? Yesterday I was reading one article written by a devotee, where he was saying, in this material world there are 7 oceans. So, Sapta Maha Samudra. The entire world is divided into 7 continents divided by 7 oceans. The Supreme Lord has got 7 ocean of qualities. So, the qualities which are like an ocean, which are in full, what we are talking, Ashtabhogagi in full, these are the qualities which are present in the Lord in full, like an ocean of qualities. Then what are the 7 qualities? The first one is known as Karunya Jaladi. The Lord is an ocean of compassion, Karunya. And this we understand in Bhagavatam, where Uddhava is saying the compassion of the Lord to Putana. Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Putana, Bakiyam, sister of Baka, Stanakala Kutam, she had applied poison to her breast. Jigamsati Apyayad Api Asadvi. And she is Asadvi, she is never to be trusted. Sadvi means one a chaste lady. Asadvi means she is not a chaste lady, she is a sinful person. Jigamshaya Apapayad. And she had approached with an intention to kill Krishna. Lebe Gatim Datri Vuchitam Tato Anyam. But Lord, He bestowed her Lebe Datri Uchitam, which is like a mother position, equivalent to mother position. Tato Anyam, what to speak of the Lord? Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema, who can be more compassionate upon the Lord? A person who had approached Krishna in an intention to kill Krishna, Lord saw that there is a minute motherly affection for her, by which she gave me breastfeeding, I drank her milk. So he gave her the position of Mother Yashoda's assistant category in Goloka Vrindavan. So who can be more merciful than the Lord, or who can be more compassionate upon the Lord? This is the first quality. Uddhava is saying there is nobody as compassionate as Lord. This is why he is known as Karunya Jaladi. He is an ocean of compassion. Then the second quality is Saushilya Jaladi. Krishna is an ocean of good character. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Sheelam Sarva Jananu Ranjanam. Krishna's spotless character and behavior satisfies everyone. Sheelam. Krishna Sarvajana Anuranjanam. He satisfies everyone, Sarvajana. By his Sheelam means character, and by his behavior which is spotless. And the third quality is Saundarya Jaladi. Krishna is an ocean of beauty. Sarva Saundarya Sangraham, Bhagavatam says, he is a collection of all beauties in the material and spiritual worlds. Krishna's beauty, last session we heard this verse, where Lord Shiva was explaining about beauty of the Lord. He is Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. All the beauties in the material world and spiritual world you accumulate, that is Krishna. And that is not even a drop of Krishna's beauty. So he is an ocean of beauty. Like Venkateshwara Suprabhatam we chant, which says, Kandarpa Darpa Harasundara Divya Murte. His beautiful transcendental form completely seals the pride of Cupid. The most beautiful person in this world is Cupid. And Krishna's form defeats the beauty of Cupid. Kandarpa Darpa Harasundara Divya Murti. And Brahma Samhita also says, Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. The Lord's beauty surpasses even 10 millions of Cupids put together. So he is beauty personified in the form of an ocean. Saundarya Jaladi. Then he is Madhurya Jaladi. He is an ocean of sweetness. Where Vallabhacharya, he glorifies Krishna's sweetness in a song. Adaram Maduram Vadanam Maduram Nayanam Maduram, Hasitam Maduram. He says everything is sweet with the Lord. Adaram Maduram, his lips are very sweet. Vadanam Maduram, his face is very sweet. Nayanam Maduram, his eyes are very sweet. Hasitam Maduram, his smile is very sweet. Maduratipate Maduram Maduram, like the king of Mathura, Lord Krishna, he is sweeter than the sweetest. Like that he says Krishna is an ocean of sweetness. So like in Mahabharata also it says, Maduram Maduram etam Mangalanam Mangalanam, he is sweeter than the sweetest. He is auspicious than the most auspicious thing. Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam Chit Swarupam. He is the transcendental fruit of all the Shruti scriptures and Vedas. Nigama Valli means Vedic literature. He is Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam. That transcendental fruit of all Vedic literature. Chit Swarupam. His body is full of knowledge. Sakrad Api Parigitam Shraddaya Helayava. Even if one chants the holy name offenselessly or offensively, Shraddaya with faith, or Helaya in a way of teasing. Bhrugavara Naramatram Tarayet Krishna Nama. Oh my dear descendant of Bhrugu, Naramatram, any human being, Tarayet Krishna Nama, this holy name of Krishna will offer him immediate liberation, will bring him to the other side of the material world. So Krishna is the most beautiful and the all aspects. That's why he is known as Madhurya Jaladi. The next quality, Gambhirya Jaladi. Krishna is an ocean of gravity. So in Bhagavatam, they describe Krishna's position. Saratya Parshada Sevana Sakya Dautya Virasana Anugama Stavana Pranaman. Krishna accepted various roles for the service of Pandavas, who were all his great devotees. Saratya, he became a charioteer. Parshadaha, he became one of his associate or friend. Sevana, he became their servant. Sakya, he became their eternal friend. Dautya, he became their messenger. Virasanaha, he became their night watchman. So in this way, he was obeying like a servant. Pranaman, he was offering respects as a subordinate to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Bhaktim karoti nripati sharanara. Because of their devotional service, Lord became bound by their devotion. So Lord accepted various roles and various capacities. Just because his devotees were of highest category, Lord, out of his supreme position, he came down as if to a normal personality. He was serving his devotees in all menial capacities. That's why he is an ocean of Gambhirya Jaladi. He is an ocean of gravity. Then one more quality was Audharya Jaladi. Krishna is an ocean of benevolence. Chiradadattam Nijagupta Vittam Swaprema Namamrutam Ati Udaraha Apamaram Yo Vitatara Gauraha Krishno Janebhyastam Aham Prapadye. When Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Supreme Lord Gaura Krishna, who is most munificent Lord, distributed to everyone, even to the lowest of men. Swaprema Nama Amrutam Ati Udaraha. Ati Udaraha, he is most magnanimous personality. And Swaprema Namamrutam, the nectar of the lotus, the nectar of the holy name of the Lord. Swaprema, his own name. Nama Amrutam, which is the nectar. The nectar of love of himself and the holy name, he is confidential treasury. Nijagupta Vittam. He distributed to one and everyone, even to the lowest of men. Chirad Adattam. Apamaram Yo Vitatara Gauraha. This was never given to people at any time before. So, Krishno Janebhyas Tamaham Prapadye. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, Krishna is an ocean of benevolence. He gives everything without any consideration. Next, Vasalya Jaladi. Krishna is an ocean of affection. So, Bhagavatam states, Evam sandarshita hi anga harina bhritya vasyata sa vashenapi krishnena yashyedam sa ishwaram vashe. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, oh my dear Parikshit Maharaj, this entire universe with its great exalted personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Indra is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Yet the Supreme Lord has one special attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This is exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. Harina bhritya vasyata sa vashenapi krishnena. So Krishna, because of his affection towards his devotees, he became bound by the devotees' affection. Like Mother Yashoda, he became by love of Mother Yashoda. He became bound by her affection. When Krishna was trying to be tied in, nobody can tie Krishna. But seeing the love and the affection of Mother Yashoda, he became bound up. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, nobody can bind Krishna. So this is one of the quality. Vasalya Jaladi, he is an ocean of affection towards his devotees. So these are the 7 qualities what he had mentioned. Then I went into Bhagavatam, I researched any more qualities are there. I got 5 more qualities. One more is Karunarnavam. He is an ocean of mercy. Where Bhagavatam says, Narada Muni says, Tarunam Ramaniyangam Arunoshta Kshanadharam Pranata Ashrayanam Nrimnam Shrayanam Karunarnamam. The Lord is an ocean of mercy. The Lord's form is always youthful. Tarunam Ramaniyangam. Each and every limb is very perfectly made. Aruna Ushtakshana Adaram. His eyes and lips are pinkish like the rising sun. Pranata Ashrayanam Nrimnam. He is prepared to give shelter to the surrendered soul. And anyone who fortunate looks upon him feels full of satisfaction. Sharanyam Karunarnamam. And he is worthy of the master of the surrendered soul. And he is an ocean of mercy. Then one more quality is Mahima Rasa Samudra. He is an ocean of mellows and glories. Mahima Rasa Samudra. Tava Mahimamrita Rasa Samudra Viprusha. Incessant transcendental bliss flows in the minds of those who have once tasted a drop of nectar from the ocean of your glories. Simply by hearing to Krishna's glories, an ocean of happiness flows into one's consciousness. Then one more is Katamrita Abdim, nectarian ocean of pastimes. Krishna's Leela are Kata Amrita Abdim. It is an ocean of Katamrita. Gaura Leela Sindhu Apara Agada Ke Karite Pare Tahan Avagaha Sada. The ocean of pastimes of Lord Chaitanya is immeasurable and unfathomable. Who can have the courage to measure that great ocean? Sarva Adbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Varidibihi. Krishna is like an ocean filled with waves of pastimes that evoke wonder within everyone within the 3 worlds. Then Avyakrata Shakti Udanvataha. He is an unlimited ocean of inconceivable energies. Then last one is Vairagyaika Nidaihi. He is an ocean of renunciation. Krishna is so great, he is so affectionate towards his devotees, but when he renounces them, he completely not even thinks about them. Like Gopis, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, so much affectionate, so much love and affection, so much love. Suddenly Krishna renounced everybody and went away. So he is an ocean of renunciation also. So in that way, when you understand how Krishna is so great with all these unique qualities, so we automatically become meditating upon the Lord in that aspect. So the moment you remember any of these perspectives, you will get into a perspective of thinking more and more about Him. Like Krishna's smile is explained by Yamunacharya in his Stotra Ratna. He says, Tavamrita Shayadini Pada Pankaje Niveditva Atmakatam Anyadichyati Stite Aravinde Makarinda Nirbhare Madhuvrato Na Iksha Rasakam Ihi Vikshate. He is saying, Tava Amrita Shayandini Pada Pankaje. So, my heart is always being aspiring for a place at your lotus feet, Pada Pankaje. Nivedita Atmakatam Anyadichyati, and it is not expecting anything else. Nivedita Atma, my Atma, Nivedita is trying to surrender at your lotus feet. Katam Anyadichyati, and it is not wanting anything else other than this. Sthite Aravinde Makarinda Nirbare. So this Madhuvrata na Iksharasam hi vikshate. You know these humble bumblebees, honeybees? When they touch the ocean of nectar, will they go anywhere other than this Amrita and leave and go to sugarcane tree? See, when they are in ocean of nectar, the Madhuvratas, the honeybees, they will not leave the ocean and go and run around a sugarcane tree. So I am also like that. Once I touch your lotus feet, I am not aspiring for anything else. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this shloka in his songs. He says, Hari he Tavapada Pankajim Jivamrita Sancharini. He say, Hari he, oh my dear Lord Hari, Krishna, Atibhagye Jiva Taha Paya. Atibhagye, by great fortune, Jiva Taha Paya. A very fortunate soul will find you, O Lord Krishna. That is Tavapada Pankajam, the lotus lake of your lotus feet, which is Jiva Amrita Sancharini. It is a lake filled with the nectar of immortality. Say Amrita Pana Kari, Mugdha Hoya Taha Hori. So one who drinks that Amrita, that ocean of lotus feet nectar, Mugdha Hoya Taha Hori, he becomes intoxicated, bewildered. Arataha Chadite Nachaya, and he does not hanker for anything else. Once you taste the nectar of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, you will not run behind anything else. Nibista hoya taya anyastane nahi jaya. Anya rasa tuchcha korimani. So any other happiness he feels as tuchcha, insignificant. Nibista hoya, being situated in that happiness of that lotus feet nectar, anyastane nahi jaya. He does not go to any place else, any other place. Madhu purna padmasita madhuvrata kadachita. Madhuvrata, the honeybee, Madhu purna padmasita, being situated within that Madhu, in the nectar of honey, kadachita nahi chaya ikshu dandapane. He will not go running around between a sugarcane forest. Hey Bhaktivinoda Kabe, say Pankaja Sthita. This Bhaktivinoda is saying, Kabe, one day, say Pankaja Sthita, I will be situated in that lotus leaf. Habe nahi jabe samsare abhimukhe. And my mind will not become diverted to this samsara abhimukha, towards this material world happiness and all these things and all. Bhakta kripa bhakta bala yei duita sambala. I am endowed with treasures of bhakta kripa, mercy of a devotee, and bhakti bala, and power of devotional service. These are my two treasures. Paile se sthiti gate suke. Because I have achieved that position, gate suke, and I am happy and I am satisfied. So devotional service and mercy of the devotees are two of my treasures. So by which I will be able to one day aspire that Krishna's lotus feet. So in this way, the devotees are explaining how one has to think about the Lord, how one has to meditate upon the form of the Lord, and how has to keep the target gatim, that lotus feet of the Lord, and going back home, back to God. So we'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్